Okay. So we should be live streaming over at YouTube now. And 3 people just came in. So let me let them all in. I think I got them all now. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on our second Zoom meeting. When we get to the speaker time, I'd like to have everybody put their screen on speaker view so that you can see her up close and personal. And she's going to talk to us a little bit, and then we'll have a short video. But before we get there, I'd like to have Linda Hall introduce our slate of officers for the coming year. Linda, do you want me to put the...
I've got the list.
Do you want me to put it up or not?
Sure.
Put it up on the screen?
That would be fine, and people can see. Don't have to remember. Am I speaking okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the president nominee is Jane Randolph. And for vice president, Merle Isgat. For secretary, Sherry Boyer.
Yeah.
For treasurer, Carol DeWitt. For membership, Sandra Wright. For programs, again, we have Carol Curry and Joan Wagner. And the past president always stays on the board, and that is Sue Atrid.
So are there any nominations from the floor?
Shall I make a motion to accept the slate?
The nominations, you're probably not on yet. Yeah.
Okay, say that again because I missed it.
Shall I make a motion to accept the slate of officers? All in favor? I mean, is that?
Yes, if somebody would make a motion, that would be great.
I'll make a motion to accept the slate as put forth.
Any,
Roberta just seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so the slate of officers is accepted as presented, and we will vote next month. So mark your calendars to come to the meeting in November. All right, let me.
Or whatever Jay tells us to do.
All right, get a couple more people in. Now I need to figure out how to get my screen back. Small active stress thumbnail.
Put it out, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Membership, I didn't see me. Just give me
Your
one.
screen sharing is still on.
So that's what I need to do. Stop sharing.
Yep.
Okay, pause share, stop share. There we go. Thank you. All these little technical issues. Pardon me?
There's a general meeting going on now.
Do we have to have a certain number of people to vote?
We will need like 37, 38 people to vote next month. So
Talk it around to get people
Louder, Roberta.
Okay, so we have to really get a lot of people on.
yeah, so we need to get the word out to have everybody that can attend to attend. Everybody should have gotten a membership notice that the new membership form is out. And there are a couple of ways to renew your membership. And once again, we are not, if you're a member in good standing in 2020, your 2021 membership will be renewed. But we do need to make sure that we have your current address, your current, everybody had to get a new CAM number. So we need to make sure we have all that up to date so that you continue to get our emails and notices. So Sandra sent out an email. Make sure you got to look at that. The form, if it's not already, it will be on the website, so you can download it there as well. So you can either complete the form, give it to Sandra, or send her an email. And she needs to know your desire to renew the membership, your preferred phone and email, and your new CAM number. And only include a new address if it's changed. Our November meeting, we're going to try something. I don't know how many know Carolyn Trooper, but she does a spatchcocked turkey. And we're going to try to make this a demonstration of how to spatchcock a turkey. I've had her turkeys. They turn out wonderful, but it cooks in like an hour and a half. So it's pretty interesting to watch her do it. So I'm going to her house next week and we're going to try filming part of it and then do maybe some of it live. So we'll see how all that works out. But one way or another, we'll have a spatchcock turkey. And if anybody has any side specialties, we'd like your recipes. And if you could share them with the membership, so that way you might be able to put together a Thanksgiving dinner and get some new ideas. So you can send those ideas to me or Carol or Joan, and we'd be happy to share them with everybody else. Our December meeting, we're going to not have a holiday meeting due to the COVID situation. So we're working with the restaurant as to what we want to do. We're checking with them to see if they will hold their price for next year. And otherwise they will give us our deposit back and we'll regroup. But, I think it will be difficult to do anything under the circumstances this year. So, Carol, any word on?
No, I'm still talking with the guy from Jack Frost. I would like to get him for December, and it's a possibility. But if I can't get him, I'll just keep looking and try and think of something else to do, because I have programs for January, February, and that's it, I think, for right now. And a couple possibilities.
Why don't you tell us about January? Because I think that will be pretty interesting.
January is going to be the Surge restaurants. They have a building where they make food that they freeze dry, fast freeze, and it's in Hilton Head. It's over by the oyster, not far from the oyster factory, or I think that's the name of the restaurant. Anyway, they have a huge kitchen and they're going to speak to us about the kinds of food they do and how they do it. And you can go in there anytime and buy the food, or there's a storefront place, I think at Giuseppe's over by the one in, oh gosh, what's it by?
Over there by AAA.
Yeah. That's the one. And they have a storefront little area that you can buy the food from too. And I've tried it, a lot of the different things, a few of the different things, and they're delicious. Their crab soup is delicious, and anything I've tried has been really, really good. So they're going to speak to us. The woman who I met with, she's going to speak to us. I have to meet with her again to make sure she's still on, because she doesn't know about Zoom yet. So I need to tell her about that. But I would think they could do it with no problem, because she has an office that she could do it in. She could kind of take us around and show us the kitchens, and that's what she did when I came to visit. So that's what I have for January. Then February, Jesse Blanco is going to do a Zoom for us.
Oh, yay.
Yes. And so I have him, and I still am going to get the Mrs. Wilkes' granddaughter to do a meeting with us, probably I'm going to try for March or April, before it gets too busy for them, because even though they're not having their the big meals at all the big tables. But what they've done is set up small tables outside of Mrs. Wilkes, and people can come and have meals. Haven't been yet, so I don't know how they do their, how you order your food or anything, but they were doing that just to kind of keep things going. So hopefully I'll get her early in the year. And I'm still working on trying to get someone from Chicken Salad Chicks. So
if anybody has any ideas, you've been out and about and you see somebody or some place that might be interested to talk to us, let Carol or Joan know and we'll be happy to run with it.
yes, I think all the ideas I can get. What?
Did somebody have a comment?
I went to, what was it, on Main Street in Hilton Head, Great Bites, GR8 Bites. That was a nice area. It's a new restaurant. They have some tables outside with umbrellas, and then a vast menu. I had a wonderful salad, and then I had a white chocolate chip raspberry. It looked like a wheat scone. It was to die for.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that place, so
it's brand new.
brand new.
Yeah, and I bet you she would enjoy making the presentation.
I think they do, because it helps them. And they do.
Yeah.
Yes,
They do get people that don't know about them.
right.
And so I think that's a great idea. I will definitely talk to them. Thank
And
you.
there are several tables inside too.
Sounds great. Great. Great bites.
8, number 8.
Okay.
Has she come on yet?
I don't think so. Chef Lynn, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, where are you?
I'm here.
There she is.
Okay, so, oh, okay, I see you now.
You see me?
Lynn's iPad.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey, if
I kinda just
everybody,
snuck in. Yeah.
you did sneak in.
Yeah.
So if everybody would set their screens to speaker view, then you'll be able to see Chef Lynn, and Carol's going to introduce her for us, and our program will go ahead and commence.
Okay. We are very pleased to have Chef Lynn Michelle as our speaker today. She says food brings people together. This is what she believes in. She has lived in many places in the world and has had formal training in culinary arts at Johnson and Wales University. And these, along with her love of good food, have shaped her into a chef who truly brings something unique to the table. I'm very excited to hear from her, and I know you all are too. So welcome. Please welcome Chef Lynn Michelle.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for including me and inviting me to be part of your meeting today. And I'm very honored to be able to share my story with you all. And I look forward to all your questions. I guess, first of all, that I am a graduate of Johnson and Wales University from Providence, Rhode Island, back a number of years ago. And I've always been a personal chef. Even when I lived over in Belgium, they had kind of called me the Western chef. And so that was sort of something that I was over there because they wanted to have Western parties and American parties. And then when I went ahead and started my personal chef business here as a base on Hilton Head Island in Bluffton, that the moniker is the East Coast chef. And not that I feel that I'm the East Coast chef, but however, I've lived up north and I've lived down south. And so I really have the flavors and flares that cover the East Coast. And I am a big believer that, you know, food is an international language, that if we don't speak the language or we don't speak, we're different cultures, different races, different religions, different languages, all this stuff, that one common thing amongst us all is food. And nobody, years ago, somebody said that, food is geographic. And even in America, we have food that is geographic, that you have the South, we have the Southwest and the Texan and the, West Coast. So even in our own country, that we have so many different varieties of food from our regions in America alone. And that was one thing that I really started to think more about, because, of course, we're the United States, but yet to really understand that food as a culture, that one particular food in the, let's say, coleslaw, that coleslaw alone, just on the East Coast alone, will have over 25 different varieties of coleslaw just on the East Coast. And then you have to add Texas, and you add probably other places that you've all lived, and there's different varieties. So, it's like, even like the East Coast, the different varieties of crab cakes that, people are very, whether it's Maryland crab, the crab, or it's a style. So, that is why the moniker of the East Coast chef, that I like people to decide what an item tastes like, what a flavor it is that you like, because all of us, really are more mobile, living and traveling all over the place, opposed to where we were, let's say, 20 and 25 years ago. So that is a little bit about my passion and love of what's gotten me here. The birth of the personal chef business that I've been doing now for 3 years. I have been in a commercial kitchen. I have raised my family. When I went to culinary school, I worked overseas in Europe, but then I raised my family, took care of that, which is a different kind of cooking. Then the restaurant in a commercial kitchen is one way. Then I went and worked at a movie catering company in New York City about 12 years ago for an HBO movie. And that was 5-star catering on the road in a food truck. So I had done that before the craze today, but that in itself is kind of cooking in the elements, that, in a restaurant setting, you have all the deliveries that come to you and you have all the ingredients there. On a food truck, catering on the road, that is per se cooking in the elements. That's what I refer to it as. It could be that we were on location someplace in the woods, or it was a rainy day. So we would have to cook snow, sleet, rain, sun, heat wave, all of those elements that we would have to cook in outside. But then also when you're on location, that you didn't have the comforts of, having eggs maybe, or the refrigeration went down and, you lost your stuff. So that was the idea of cooking in the elements of, we were maybe supposed to have milk in a cake product. And the liquid I used coffee that we brewed that morning. So it became more of a coffee flavored cake opposed to a vanilla cake. And that is where, cooking in those elements of using different liquids. Then I went on to become a corporate chef with Kroger for 3 years. And I was with them for 3 years, and I opened up left the store on Hilton Head Island and was the chef in there. And then I went on to become a deli manager, which I was the first deli manager in the entire enterprise, the first chef to become a deli manager in the enterprise. So I took care of the whole left side of the store on Hilton Head. And then that was part of becoming a grocery store chef, which is going into people's homes and all the different products. And I always said that, I had the largest food pantry of any chef because of the 83,000 square foot Kroger that I worked in. So I had all kinds of food and products that I got to, work with and practice with, and, work into the products that we would use on our bistro line at the Hilton Head Island Kroger. And so from all of that, different areas that I would do, then it kind of led into the personal chef business that I focused on 3 years ago. And I'm not the first personal chef, and I'm not going to be the last one. But however, what I felt a need to do was to create the innovation and a modern day experience of what a personal chef can do for clients and for people. And so the difference is between a personal chef and a private chef. A private chef works specifically for one client or one company, and you would stay with that person. And a personal chef goes and is hired by other people, and that's what I like to do. And so this is my 3rd year doing the business, and the innovation behind the modernization behind the personal chef and what it can do as the personal chef services in terms of cooking demos, teaching people how to cook, teaching people how to navigate around their own kitchens, and then also encourage them as well to get those recipes out and cook and get recipes and share them with their family, share them with their grandkids, and dust off those cookbooks and get back to the basics of cooking again. And if anybody has any questions, or if you have any specific things you would like me to answer, I'm open to the floor to questions.
So what kind of party was a Western party when you were in Belgium? What did that entail?
A Western party entailed that my family went to the international school, and I had a lot of international based customers over there through the international school. And so there was families that were from India, there was Pakistan or Germany. And at the time that we would, experience their culture. But then when they wanted to have a party at their house, they would hire me, and I would have I was their Western chef. And that would be apple pie, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza to a certain extent, because there was different pizzas in Europe, but they really wanted the baseball experience. They wanted the hamburgers and the ribs and chocolate chip cookies. And apple pie was always a big one, because that was always different than apple strudel in Europe. And they really liked to learn about the American products at the time. Meatloaf, for instance. And we're really big on casseroles. So it's kind of interesting making casseroles for a nice party, but that was part of the Western, that's what they saw. That is what they saw on the TV at the time. And this was back a number of years ago. So it wasn't what they see on TV today. It's what they saw on TV, 20 and 25 years ago.
What inspires you to create something original?
I can smell something. I can taste something. What inspires me to create something original is really clients and people in general. Because sometimes I'll feel like, oh, what else can I create? And it will always be specifically sometimes of a need that somebody wants to taste, or it could be an allergy, or it could be something like, say, for instance, the birth of my remoulade sauce for my crab cakes. I was making it my cocktail sauce, which is basic, the ketchup and the horseradish with some other seasoning. Somebody came up and said, I do not like crab cakes and I don't like horseradish, so I'm not going to have the sauce. So I said, okay, when you come back, I'll make a sauce just for you that you'll like with the crab cakes. And I said, well, what do you like? She said, I like lemon. So that was really the inspiration of the new sauce that I created, because it was being mindful that things that I like or I dislike, it is also in keeping in mind that what I like, other people like, and what I dislike, so it goes back and forth. And that's where I fill those voids to create that inspiration that I find inside of myself.
Could you give us an example, like a walkthrough something recent that you've done, including, do you do all the shopping? Do you bring the utensils? Does the host participate with you? Do you serve the meal, and kind of what the cost might be?
The cost varies based on what people, when I create the unique culinary experience with each client, the cost varies based on what the needs are. But we do the grocery shopping for our menu because I want to make sure that I buy all the right ingredients. I don't necessarily need all brand, but I know what works with my recipes. So I like to stay true to what the flavor is going to be. So I like to do my own shopping. And then also I have an extension that if clients want us to do some grocery shopping for them, we will add that on to that and do additional grocery shopping for just the pantry and household. And then it's about creating that experience, what people want. For example, if we have somebody with allergies or dietary needs, we always keep that intact, that we don't do just one entree. For instance, I've done a low country boil that I've had people that were allergic to shrimp. And so I'm not really for like tried and true and what traditional food per se is. I do know a lot of classic recipes and stuff. And so I honor that. But when I deal with people's dietary needs and allergies, it's more about the experience than it is about the tradition of the meal per se. So the low country boil, I want the group to be able to enjoy a low country boil as a group, even if somebody has an allergy. So based on going back on the creative of there's a need and there's a difference, and how am I going to accomplish that? And so it was easy for me to be able to go into the other area to say, all right, what am I going to do that's going to be different than shrimp? So, okay, let's do chicken. So I decided what was the best way that I could achieve this chicken low country boil. And it's not about boiling the chicken. I didn't want to have boiled chicken because then you have soup. So how am I going to specifically create this unique meal, but yet cook it all the right ways? So I did have some chicken that I roasted, and I specifically roasted chicken wings. And I seasoned the chicken wings and made my low country boil just with the Old Bay like I normally would. And I added the baked chicken wings like the last couple of minutes as I would with the shrimp, because I didn't want to cook the chicken wings. I wanted to flavor them. So I had the chicken low country boil as well as the shrimp country boil. And then I needed a different sauce because the one with a low country boil with the shrimp was with the cocktail sauce. So then I created one with a ranch dressing with Old Bay in it that went with the chicken low country boil. So those are the things that I like to do to adapt. So everybody got to enjoy a low country boil with the dinner. And that is important to me.
Any other questions out there? So is your typical client, is it people from out of town that are here for a week and they want somebody to cook for them while they're here? Is it local residents?
I have everybody. I have there's local residents that just want to have a special party at their house and they want to entertain and they don't want to cook. There's some people that I use all their recipes, let's say for Thanksgiving or a special meal, that they will give me their recipes and they will assist on some of the things, but they have more of their flavors and flares for their dinner party. And that's the personalized part of it. It doesn't matter to me whether it's my recipes or somebody else's. I just like to cook and make sure that I accomplish what people want for their dinner. Did that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a website?
Yes, my website is cheflynnmichelle.com. It's CHEFLYNNMICHE.
I'm sorry. Could you start, your Lynn?
Yes, it's my website is chef, CHEFLYNNMICHELLE.com. It's www at the beginning.
Okay.
Yep,
Thanks.
cheflynmichelle.com. And on there, you'll find some vignettes that I've done, some cooking demos that I've done with WHHI locally. And I also travel to stores to do demo classes, and I've done a lot. St. Simon's Island and Piggly Wiggly and on Hilton Head, I've done that as well.
I think we have one of your videos we're going to show when you're
Oh,
concluded.
fabulous. Yeah, and also if anybody, you'll see that there's a form you can fill out on there, and you can fill out your information, and you'll be on my newsletter that comes out every month. And so if you go on there and just give your email address and your name, I will put you on our mailing list, and you'll get that at the beginning of every month. And also, if you ever want to email me, or if there's questions, you can also send me questions. My email is let's eat, LETSEAT. It's let's eat at cheflynmichelle.com. And you can always email me questions. If you have a question about cooking, about a spice, or how a recipe is, or even how much pasta do you need to serve, 10 people. I have a lot of questions that people will email me and ask me. So please feel free to, email me questions that you might have about food, and we'll get back to you. And then also I have a question and answer. So your question also might make it to my newsletter as well. So I have question and answer on there as well.
How has the coronavirus affected you and your business?
The coronavirus actually has launched my business even further than it was. It has this year alone, it has tripled in my business has tripled this year. And at the beginning, when coronavirus first started, we did have a lot of jobs and people did cancel. But then what we had to do was we followed the protocol per the governor. And we are different. A personal chef, I felt, is different than a restaurant. So I had to honor what the governor wanted us to do. So we went back to work June 1st of this year, and we have been booked solid since June 1st, and we are booking out until 2021 as well. So we don't see any projection of slowing down. And we are, in fact, I'm hiring new chefs and new associates, and I have an office now that I'm in now, and I have an office that we are working out of. And so we've been very fortunate, and we're just staying up with the innovation and staying up with our, in a way, being in a vacation and rental area that, we are different level of an essential worker, but I feel that, being patriotic to our country and being helpful to people having jobs, that we have continued to work through all of this, that we've gotten to employ a lot of people in the area.
Do we have any other questions for Chef Lynn?
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Carol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lynn. We really appreciate you coming, and we'll be watching your video, and I'm sure
Thank
you'll hear
you.
from people. So we enjoyed your.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate everybody, and thank you for including me in this, and I wish you all a wonderful day, and let's eat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's
All
on.
right, I'm gonna screen share over to her short, it's about a 4 or 5 minute video.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you for having me.
Can you all see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a problem that
I'm not getting audio.
what's that?
I'm not getting any audio. Is everybody
Right.
else hearing this?
No, I can't hear anything.
Second.
Please turn up the sound on Jane's machine.
Or unmute.
Sometimes
audio
if you
not
go back to
working?
share screen, if you go back to share screen again and unshare it, and then there should be a little button that says optimize audio and optimize video in the lower left corner. I've usually found it. Optimize audio and optimize video, but you got to go back and unshare the screen first before.
Oh,
Remove share screen and then go back and look for optimize audio and optimize video. I've had that work before.
are you saying that to everybody or the moderator? Not
Well, the
sure where-
moderator.
Okay.
The moderator has control over the share
Some are easier to get into than others. And you just keep working that hinge, and I did some earlier. That's a beautiful one.
And with this shooter, we're gonna add a little bit of vodka to this. So now we have our oyster shooter. You can add moonshine, you can do vodka, whatever you want, and there is your oyster shooter. We'll go ahead and make some oysters Rockefeller here. We got our grill going here.
These are easy now. You can put these on the grill. If you don't want to go at them raw, a lot easier way is this grill's already hot. You kind of want a medium-high heat, and these can go directly on the grill. You want to put them cup side down because you don't want to lose any of that liquid. So you would just layer these right on there.
Okay, we're gonna get that grill going, and we're gonna talk about this permit here, this fun oyster permit. Look at this old plaque that they have here. What was the story behind that oyster permit?
These are actually the oyster beds in South Carolina are leased from the state. No one owns the beds except for the state, and so you have to have permits in order. And back in this is from 75 to 76. This was our permit. We actually had 52 acres of oyster beds that we shucked daily. So this is again single layer, and for oysters Rockefeller, we have some chopped spinach, you could do bacon, little hollandaise, goes on the top. Just a dollop.
Look at that. Fabulous.
Whatever you'd like. Again, cup side down.
Yum. Okay, and we also have, you can have cheese nips, crackers, put a little bit of a raw oyster. You get one of these raw oysters over here.
You gonna do one? Not now. I will after, though. I will after. You can have a little cheese snip, put a little bit of cocktail sauce on it, and there you go. So we have some cheese snips. We don't have saltines. You can make it work. Thank you very much for tuning in to What's Cooking in the Low Country with Chef Lynn Michelle on the banks here of Skull Creek with Tanya Hudson at Hudson Seafood Market. And again, look at this beautiful view with all those oysters just waiting to be eaten.
Okay, thanks for the help on the
Audio.
screen sharing. So does anybody have any final questions? Oh, everybody's muted.
No, I'm not. I was wondering, did you enjoy her presentation? Did everyone enjoy her presentation?
Yeah, it was good.
Yes, very much.
It's a little hard to get them to speak longer than 20 or 25 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why that is. But
I
if they're
thought the
standing in
topic-
front of you, they talk longer.
I thought the topic was going to be on Thanksgiving, though.
That's next month.
Next month.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Have you used them? They live on Argent. They're from Grand Island. And their sons for years is a fisherman of the Pacific Salmon. And it has 3 boats. And I mean, used to eat the salmon. In fact, there was one bar, I wouldn't eat any salmon unless it came from them. Yes.
So do we have any other questions? Any suggestions?
Louder.
Is there a way, if she's cooking, that we could come in and watch her? Does she have any kind of place to go to?
I don't know that.
Oh,
I think you know, you could write in that. I have used that little question and answer thing that's just on her the website that she gave me, and she does answer. So you could ask that.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
There she is. Chef Lynn? Chef, we have a question for you.
Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Absolutely.
There you go. Okay, Roberta.
I wanted to know if you had a particular place that you cook, could we come and watch and you walk us through what you were doing and probably why you're doing it?
I can't quite hear you. You have an echo.
Okay, there you are. Is there somewhere that you cook publicly or that we could possibly watch your cooking and you could explain why you're putting certain ingredients in that would enhance the taste to whatever you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes, I have done that. And just because of our COVID time right now, you know, people, there's not like a lot of live demo going on, just I guess people being together, but I do demo classes at Rollers on Hilton Head Island on Palmetto Bay Road. They have a wonderful kitchen. It's a small, intimate area. And we do hands-on there too. So sometimes our cooking classes, that is one that people participate. We make dough together. We make pepperoni rolls. We do pizza. So, and we make cinnamon rolls. That's a fun one that we're interactive with. And then we also do other ones. I don't really like to do so much interactive classes because only that's a fun one, but I don't like to do one that there's really anything to do with knives and people per se cooking, because of so much of the, you know, just I don't want anybody to cut themselves or burn themselves. So that's why I kind of stick with the dough items, and that's a real fun one for people to be able to do that. And then in the past I have, and maybe we'll do it again, is I do a cooking demo at All of the Above, the olive oil shop at the Belfair Town Center. I do there. So I sometimes specifically teach how to incorporate the specialty olive oils and vinegars into products rather than just putting them on a salad. I also teach how to add them to different, make sauces or, use them in baked goods and stuff like that. And then I also go to St. Simon's Island and to an olive oil shop, and I do demo classes there.
Chef,
But-
do you have a listing on your website of when those classes or demonstrations are going to be?
In the future, yes, we have them on my social media page. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. If anybody's on Instagram, it's Lynn or Chef _Lynn _Michelle, which is for the Instagram, and then the Facebook is Chef Lynn Michelle, the East Coast chef, and we have it listed. The cooking demonstrations will be on Instagram, Facebook, and also my website. And then also it will be listed in the newsletter as well that goes out every month. But right now, because of COVID, we have not added any additional. We haven't started that back up yet, but we will hopefully after the first of the year that we will be back to doing some cooking demos.
Okay, so there's no listing anywhere because nothing's taking place, but after the first of the year, we can expect to see it.
I hope so. If things are lifted and we get to do it earlier, then I can put things together earlier. But we're just sort of waiting on that part of the equation of what to do with COVID and cooking demos. And also, if there's a facility there, like I know that the different places that people live, that sometimes that there's like something around the pool, that they have a cabana or a kitchen and stuff. So really, if there's a group that wants to put together a cooking demo class, as long as there's a kitchen, I can go do cooking demos anywhere. It doesn't necessarily need to be at a restaurant and stuff like that. Oh, and the other place that I can put something together if somebody was interested is at Billy Wood Appliance in Old Town Bluffton. I also do cooking demos in there. That can also be hired as a private party, a private luncheon and stuff like that. And they have a fabulous kitchen that I cook in and do demo classes in the Billy Woods. And that is one place that will start adding after the first of the year is Billy Woods. And that's usually on Saturday afternoons.
So we had a question. Are you related to the chef Jean-Michel that was in Washington, D.C.?
I am not. No, I am not.
Have you ever done an Ollie class?
An Ollie class?
Yes, they put a kitchen in on the island specifically for cooking.
I do not know about the Ollie class.
It's the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and they do a lot of special interest classes. And so it might be something you would want to look into to give yourself some additional exposure.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that, because I was not aware of that they had a kitchen and that would be available. So yes, I most definitely will look into that because there are different people that have built offices or kitchens and stuff, but no, I will most definitely look into that. I appreciate that very much.
You are aware of the Culinary Institute, right? That's
being built at TCL.
Yes.
Yes, I am. And ironically, the dean, Chef Miles and I went to Johnson & Wales at the same time.
Oh.
And he was actually in the Charleston campus, and I was in the Providence campus. So he and I have met on a number of occasions, and we haven't met lately, but he's doing his project and I'm doing my project. And so we had already spoken already, and a lot of the program that may be at TCL will maybe be the program that we had when we were at Johnson & Wales. And it was a really great program. It was a 2-year program, but we went to school, 5 days a week, and we worked at school. We supplemented the school. So I really hope that that somewhat of a program that we knew as a culinary program is put back into this program at TCL, which I'm sure it will have something to do with it. And I know that when Chef Miles and I spoke, that we needed to get out into the community and teach people how to cook, or have the interest of people cooking and younger people cooking, because we needed the older generations to dust off their cookbooks, dust off their recipes, to pass the recipes and family tradition, or just traditional recipes, or teach how to cook down to the younger generations, because it's the younger generation now that, if they're in grade school now, in middle school and high school, they're the ones that are going to be going to the TCL. So Chef Miles has been really, really strong and connected with the high school and going in and teaching. I think it's at ACE or the culinary through the school, that he already is getting his feeder program set, that there will be students that go locally from this area. And then I have gotten into, on a more personal basis, and younger kids in grade school, to get their interest of cooking, that they can also then go into the feeder program to go and be ready for the culinary school when it's built.
Now, is Chef Miles, is he the dean?
Yes, he is. Yes.
And he used to be personal chef to General Schwarzkopf, right?
I do not know that.
That is correct. That's correct. He came and spoke to our group several months ago. And yes, he's the one.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes that we all do. So so that's good to know that he has done that as well. So I know a lot about other things, but we just there's a lot of things.
Now, when did you graduate?
I graduated in 1988.
1988.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I went to, I have my degree in hotel, food and beverage management and culinary arts. And I went there, and I fell in love with cooking the day that I got there. And I didn't necessarily know that I was signing up for culinary school, but I was very excited when I showed up. And I had a chef the first day of school that I had to make ham with raisin sauce for 1,000 people. And then my next meal was I had to make scrambled eggs the next morning for 1,000 people. And that's a lot of eggs. But the one thing about making the ham with raisin sauce for 1,000 people, because we cooked for the students at the time, and I was like, how many raisins is that? But when I started at culinary school, I was amongst on the younger side at culinary school, just coming out of high school. Some of the people in my small class of 20, I think there was like 22 of us, but that was just my everyday class. That there was people that had gone back to school from being in the industry. There was people that were retired that wanted to go to culinary school. So I had people that I went to school with that, one gentleman was 72 that I was going to school with. So me being incredibly a rookie, just making basically, chocolate chip cookies and stuff, that when I arrived, that all the different pots and pans all have special names in French terms. So, it's like, we don't call it a saucepan, you call it a Larousse pan. So, and a marmite is a stock pot. And it's like, why can't you just call it a stock pot? They had to use the French terminology for it. And just figuring out how many raisins to get and how much ham to get. But it was like, what kind of pots are these? So, I'm very thankful that I had, a bunch of guys that were there that knew the terminology and knew that had been in the field before me. Because if I was in a class of all people like me and coming right out of high school, I don't think the students would have eaten very much food that week.
Have you ever considered a summer camp for children who are interested in cooking?
Absolutely, I would. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I would most definitely be interested in a summer camp. What was that? Sorry.
They don't, they have a love for it, they grow up and continue to have it.
Oh yeah, I mean this is I like if anybody has an interest to cook, I want to show them. And basically, I don't necessarily have the my view, I guess my angle of it is not per se the traditional culinary teaching way that I go about my teaching and my demos. Going into the culinary school and teaching the proper way, there's a lot of memorization, there's a lot of things that we need to know, a lot of protocol. And so what I try to do is condense that into the everyday, into going into people's homes, that I like to make it that it's not as evasive as and knowing you have to know what all the knives do and what all the knives are called and what all the pots are called. It's important if people want to know, but I want to make sure that people they're make friends with their kitchen. They are happy to cook. I don't want them to have a negative. I mean, they're going to have a negative experience if they burn it, but that's okay. And I like to tell people that, I burn things still. Part of burning things, part of scorching things, part of making your garlic bitter, or dry, melting your chocolate, that it's not that you kept it on too hot. That's all part of cooking. It's all part of answering your telephone when you're in the middle of cooking, or you're sending an email and you forgot it was on the stove. So all those things are the real experiences to cooking. And if they burn it, if it doesn't taste right, well, you got to start over again. I'm sorry. You can't make it once you get to that certain point. But I like to tell people that it's okay. It's okay. Just make sure you have a plan B and maybe a frozen pizza in the freezer, because you might have to use plan B if plan A didn't work, but don't give up on plan A next time or tomorrow. So it's like getting back up on that bicycle to just do it again, and just remember what you can and can't do when you're cooking. But it's like for instance, when I work with younger students, I like to start with whipped cream. Whipped cream is a really, really good base to start with, because whipped cream is something that you can build from. For instance, we've gone from starting with whipped cream, then we move on to icing, which is the same premise, and then we eventually move on to egg whites. And I don't start with the egg whites because I like to teach the food sanitation and food safety, which I think is more essential for the everyday cook and people cooking at home. That I think it's more important to know what your safety, your sanitation and your food safety things are. Those are more important for me to make sure that people understand that at any age and anywhere, because they don't go away. I'd much rather people concentrate on those important things rather than knowing what the name of a knife is. And the name of the knife can come later, but I really like to make sure that the food safety, sanitation, and proper techniques are taken, because when you cook in the kitchen, you can be dealing with grease, knives, hot stoves, hot items, and it's dangerous to cook. And that's what I like to people to know, that it can be dangerous and overwhelming, but you just have to take your time and cook. But like when you go from the whipped cream, you know, it's the food safety of how to properly, you know, hold the mixer, but also when to, you know, place the mixer into the bowl and make sure it's off before you plug the mixer in. Because if you plug it in and it happens to be on, somebody's hair could get stuck in it, you know, somebody's fingers, you know. So there's a lot of just little minor things, but they're big things. And I like to make sure that those are, but when we start with the whipped cream, it's an easy experience. It's easy to teach because when you have the soft peaks, you can show the soft peaks. You can show the stiff peaks that would go into, let's say, if you're doing meringue with the egg whites, but yet the cream is safer than the egg whites. And so then you go on a little bit further and you can whip it more and it becomes butter. You know, so it's just, there's so many things you can just learn with just the heavy cream.
With these things for the length of time you're supposed to be. Did you call up to find out how many?
I don't know. Did somebody ask a question or did somebody, I don't know. I heard somebody talk.
There was some background noise and I muted them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if anybody wants to ask a question and you're muted, just unmute yourself. I think Calvin might have a question for you if you can fit him into a schedule for his.
Sure.
Hi, Chef Lynn. This is Calvin Lamar. I'm part of a SIG that we've been operating now for 2 or 3 years through the club. I see Linda Hall, one of my SIG members, is on the call. Hi, Linda.
Hello.
Well, right now I'm at my summer home in Grand Island, New York, but I'll be back home to Sun City next month. And
wonderful.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you because our SIG is gotten kind of accustomed to preparing these elaborate meals, typically based on the cuisine of some country. And we've all kind of circulated through each other's homes and ideas. And I think it would be refreshing to get a professional like you to get involved so that we can really put you, the professional, through the big test.
Oh, thank you. I would have loved that.
My thinking, for example, is what if we were to put together an outrageous menu that would feature the food from the Languedoc region of southwestern France. And,
fabulous.
So kind of put you to the test of coming up with something there, and you'd come over to my home or whatever, and we supply all of the ingredients and everything, and you do the cooking, and we'll drink the wine.
That's good. And speaking of the south of France, that one of my dear friends that about 13 years ago, you know, I give credit where credit is due. And he's a master chef, a French master chef, Jean-Claude Grazia. And he is a dear friend of mine. And I got the honor to cook with Chef JC in Bermuda in 2009 in his restaurant for about 3 weeks. And he is the reason of why I put my apron back on and got back in the kitchen. But I think I could probably tap into him too for some really good recipes for that dinner.
Oh, that would be great. So Linda, you heard it. So you see what we're doing in February.
Yes, absolutely.
with our group. We'll spread the word and complete the planning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Start accumulating the wine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll also share with you all another little tidbit about myself that it has to maybe do with food, but it has to do with travel and my background. A lot of why have I lived these places and why have I experienced all this culture? my father worked for GE Plastics. And so I grew up as a GE brat. And so I moved around a lot growing up, and it was bittersweet. And my dad was a chemist, or, you know, he went into sales, but he was a chemist with GE, and he did start out with Jack Welch. And so my background is that I have a strong business degree, but I happen to be a chef. And so when I was moving around so much, that's how I got into all these different states, is because we would move around every year plus. So I went to 15 different schools growing up by the time I graduated high school. And then how did I end up in Belgium? My dad was director of GE Plastics Europe. And so that is how I got there. And how did I get back to the States? Was I went from Belgium and then to West Virginia. My dad then was transferred back to the States to end up in West Virginia. And so I moved around a couple more times with my family. And then I kind of got off of the moving van, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended. But then, of course, the travel bug never went away. So that is where I would continuously travel, and just any place of go and get embedded and really learn about different people's culture and food and just celebration and just religious. And I have a really big curiosity and fascination of what and how what makes people tick. And it's like when I say that food is the international language, it really is. And how different countries or different regions or whatever will use different spices that they can taste completely different. It's like, for instance, it's like you think of let's say America, like let's take the cinnamon roll. Think of like a nice ooey gooey cinnamon roll. And I think America when I think of a cinnamon roll. But then you add that cinnamon to a Moroccan dish. It doesn't taste like a cinnamon roll, does it? And then when you add the cinnamon into a Hungarian dish, or into a Jamaican dish, or into it, and it changes the dish, but yet you're still using cinnamon. And so, that is sort of what I love about each food product, is just because I'm just trying to think of something that at the grocery store that you might see a jar of something that sometimes when you put them all together in a different culture, the food tastes completely different. It's like if you're going to have a curry, it's like there's a Moroccan curry, and then there's an Indian curry, and then you go to a curry in the UK, and then you go to a Thai curry. There's so many different, for more Moroccan, you're going to have some rice, and you're going to have some cinnamon, and, but then they use mint, but then you go mint back to England, and then you go to other countries and they don't want mint. So that is the evolution of food, of how it gets on and off the travel train.
That's amazing. That's amazing. My wife and I go back and forth visiting friends in England. And, they come here, we go there. Well, they live about 80 miles outside of London, but it turns out that the couple, they're Indian. They're of Indian descent. So when we eat at their home, they cook Indian-based food. And just hearing you talk about the mint being added to the, well, he makes a chicken with the curry and mint in it, and it's outstanding, of course. But I've just been fortunate enough to go around and see exactly what you're talking about, how the things that we are familiar with get changed based on the geographical situation. And, we think we're familiar and we know it all, but then a change happens. But while I've got the mic, I want to bring us back to one other thing. Someone earlier had mentioned you doing something with Ollie, and you mentioned that you're affiliated with TCM. Well, one of the last things that I did before I left Sun City this past spring was I took an Ollie course on preparing pincho. Now, I had no idea what a pincho was, but it turns out it's kind of a Cantonese version of an hors d'oeuvre. Well, this class was led by the chef from TCL, and I'm blanking on his name. Pardon me? It was outstanding. It was held at the new Ollie Kitchen on Hilton Head Island, and we all shared. We were all given cooking stations, and we all made something. And I made an hors d'oeuvre that I just fell in love with. And I'm to this day I insist on making it. It's called a gilda, which is basically
a gilda.
Yes, from the
like
the
a Dutch gilda.
Well, no, it's adapted for some reason. That part of Spain fell in love with Gilda Radner, the American actress.
Okay.
And they came up with this concoction. It's basically an anchovy and Spanish olive on a stick with a pepper on the end of it. So when I'm having a cocktail or something, or a few people, or just need a quick hors d'oeuvre, I'll make a few gildas, and it's kind of an interesting way to get things started. Anyone wants the recipe, I sent it around to someone. I made a copy and I sent it around on an email, so it's already in digital form. I'd be happy to share it with anyone. But you throw down a couple of gildas, and
good.
And you're ready to get the evening started.
Absolutely.
Well, Chef Lynn, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak to us. I think it was very interesting, and
thank you.
Wish you well in your personal catering business.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that kindly. I really do.
Lynn, I want to thank you, and you will hear a lot from me and Linda.
Thank you. I look forward to it. And we'll keep you posted on my website of what we're doing and the adventures of Team Chef Lynn Michelle. So we so we have a lot of exciting things coming up, and we'll just trudging forward, and we just kind of just go by what happens every day, but it's exciting because I am in the middle of writing a cookbook right now. So we have that's going to be launched probably in 2021 sometime, but don't know when. But thank you so much for sharing this time with me and inviting me, and it was been an honor.
Okay.
Thank
you, everybody. We'll see you next month.
See you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.